He's one of the top 100 income earners in the industry.
We call it network marketing, not net sit on your butt marketing.
Built organizations of more than 500,000 people in 70 countries and generated more than $100 million in sales.
You're going to see a lot more companies also start to move into more automated systems.
Wrote a book and overcame alcohol and food addiction.
I started seeing little blessings in my life. I was scared to death.
He joins us today to tell us how he did it and the truth about success in network marketing.
If you're not making an income from it, it's a debt to you.
My conversation with Jonathan Gillardi coming up now on Home Business Television.
From Hollywood, it's Home Business Television, the hot spot for your home business success. And now, with your home business hookup, your host, Calais Beeman.
My guest today has overcome physical and emotional challenges to rise to the top of the network marketing industry. He started at the age of 19, soared to the top, lost everything, only to make a remarkable comeback. He's here today to tell us about overcoming failure and exactly how he was able to build organizations of hundreds of thousands of people. Jonathan Gillardi, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me as a guest, Kaylee.
So you know a little something about overcoming adversity. Tell us a little bit about your background and your story.
I was never a good student, and I liked education, but I didn't like to be taught. I wanted to be able to do it my way. What that actually led me to do was actually leave home at a very young age and get married. And give up the college route and actually go directly into business and getting into the financial services arena. I grew up in New York, and I was kind of lucky. When I got into the financial services arena at a very, very young age, at 18 years old, I was trained by some of the best that they had there. I didn't know what self-development was. And about a week after I joined the financial services industry with the Prudential, I got to experience my first self-development seminar by Bob Proctor. And it's kind of funny because I follow Bob a lot now, and I'll run into at events and ask him back in the day if he remembered this 18-year-old kid, that had a little bit of a weight problem, and he actually remembered it. And I won a contest with him that he was running, and he was doing training back then, and really didn't know that that was how my life was going to go down and lead me down the road of not only network marketing but self-development. And things went well. And when I was about 19 years old, I was approached on network marketing. I didn't have any idea what it was. Some people who were very, very successful that I had a meeting with who pulled up in their $1 million at the time, back in the 80s, Prevost motor coaches. And they showed me this world of network marketing. And they showed me the world of the big A. And we all know what that is. And I was thrown into the world of network marketing and had a lot of success at a young age. And I did what they told me. I got very frustrated. I was having a lot of success in the financial services industry, but I did not know network marketing. And I did things that were uncomfortable, but I was really lucky at such a young age to be trained by the best of the best. And I'm very stubborn, but I didn't understand what they were trying to teach me and why I should do it their way and not my way, almost like I was in school. I wanted to teach the teacher how to do math and figure it out in pictures. But, I bit my pride back in the day, and I learned from them, and that was my springboard. And it'll be 27 years next month that I've been in this industry.
You were in a situation where you had risen to the top, lost everything, and then came back. Tell me what that was like, especially for the people who are watching who may be at their low point right now. What was the shift that happened in you where you decided, now I'm going to turn this around, and what were the first steps that you took to start to rebuild your business?
Well, first of all, I have a very addictive personality. It doesn't matter what it is. If I get into something, I will research it, whether it's skiing or something, whether I do the hobby or anything or not. I want to know everything about that, and that can be a downfall. But I did it with food as well. When I left home at 17 years old, I was gaining on average of 80, 90 pounds a year, and I ended up, one day waking up and I was 650 pounds, and I had a gastric bypass to correct that. And then I was making good money. People thought I was at the top of my game, but I was living kind of a rock star lifestyle. People call it a vampire lifestyle. I was the father during the day. I was the baseball coach, the football coach, the business guy, the internet marketer, back when nobody knew what internet marketing was. We moved to Dallas, Texas, and at night I'd be the vampire. I was out in clubs and picked up pretty much my first drink of alcohol at 34 years old, and within 6 months I was a full-fledged alcoholic. So I replaced my food addiction that was solved now with an alcohol addiction, and I was drinking about a gallon of tequila a day for about 8 years, and I really was my own worst enemy. I had other businesses, but things got really, really bad, and it talks about it a lot in my book. I was trying to get back after my wife had left me, took my son, who I never saw again, before his 8th birthday. I was trying to get back, even though part of that lifestyle was very bad. While I was drinking, I wanted that again. I wanted the house and the cars and this, and I wanted the neighbors to think that everything was okay, my friends to think everything was okay. And I would beg to God and sit there and cry while I was drunk, just let me not drink for a day. And I didn't understand why I was just continuing to have, adversity in my life. Well, it was me. And then it was kind of funny. I left Dallas, Texas, because, and this was back in about 2007. And I was in Dallas, Texas, and I had bounced back. I had did a stint in jail. It was just a nightmare. Again, it talks about it in the book. And my life was just spiraling out of control. And I went up to Montana. And I had a chance to get into a house in Montana. And I figured that there wasn't as much alcohol in Montana as there was in Dallas, Texas. So I moved up to Montana, and I ended up being worse off than I was in Dallas, Texas. Things spiraled out of control. And so then I decided that I was going to move to California and partner up with some guys in another network marketing company, in a juice network marketing company. So I was in the process of doing that summer. And I was on Facebook, and it was the middle of the night, and I was drunk, as usual, and I got a Facebook message, and it says, "I don't know if you remember me, but we used to be friends. Our parents were best friends, and I used to babysit for your little brother." And I remembered who she was. I knew her. She was about 2 years younger than me. I was about 7, and she was 5. She lived across the street from me. And I said, "Yeah, of course I remember you." She said, "Well, I'm trying to reconnect our mothers. I live in Georgia now, and do you think we could reconnect, our parents?" My dad was friends with her dad. And I didn't really tell her the details, that I really don't have any communication with my family, but she put down a phone number. And so I thought it was her phone number, so I thought it was a good idea, while I was having a little bit too much alcohol, to call that phone number. And it wasn't her phone number, it was actually her mother. About 5 hours on the phone with her mother, rekindling while I was drunk, saying some things I shouldn't. And I said, "Well, have Gina call me someday." And she said, "Well, she's going through a divorce, but I'll have her call you someday." And 3 weeks later, that phone call came. Gina is now my wife. We started kind of dating on the phone when I went to California, while I was in about my last year of addiction with alcohol. I started traveling to Atlanta, Georgia, spending some time with her. She saw me at my worst. She rushed me to the hospital. They were going to put me in a nursing home. And it was really because of her, and her seeing me at my worst, not at my best like everybody else who was used to seeing me, that when I finally went to that hospital the last time, where they thought I was clinically brain dead and going to a nursing home, that I decided to go to rehab one last time. And I didn't think I would stick through it. And while I was in rehab, she came and visited me. I went through the program and came home, and I started seeing little blessings in my life. I was scared to death. I had, medicine in my system now that was helping me be off alcohol. Several days turned into several weeks. Several weeks turned into several months. Several months turned into years. And I look back now in what I prayed for in about 8 years of my life of drinking. Once I stopped drinking and made the commitment, even though I didn't think I was going to be able to stop, the blessings that I was begging for 8 years started coming in tidal waves. And they didn't take a year. It happened in 2 weeks, in 4 weeks, in 6 weeks. And as I got a little bit more sobriety underneath my belt, the blessings came faster and faster. And this past September, just about 2.5 months ago, we got married actually on stage at a network marketing event, at the Pure Leverage event. Had a lot of best men and her family there and some things like that. So things have changed. It was just a mindset and a mind shift change, and realizing that some of the garbage I didn't need in my life anymore, it's not there. I hardly leave my house. My house is like a playground. If I could walk you around my house with my my laptop here. I used to be out every night. Now I do my business. We travel a lot. We cook dinner and we do the normal things of what I probably should have been doing back then instead of living that phantom lifestyle.
It's interesting. Whenever you join any network marketing company these days, it seems like the very first thing that they tell you to do is personal development. They really, really push personal development, and as a new person coming in, you don't always understand why. It's like, just show me, just what do I do? What are the tasks that I do? Who do I need to talk to? But it's never me. It's always, trying to change everything outside of you. And there's a reason why they tell you to work on yourself, and it's one of the reasons is as you begin to ascend and get those limiting beliefs, those things that you believe about yourself, drag you back down to your comfort zone. And I'm curious for you what that might have been for you. Like, I mean, you were in a situation where you made it to the top. Did that play a role with that lack of personal development and really looking back at it now? Was there something that you can identify that you need to work on to get to
it's kind of funny that you bring that up now, because I never thought of it that way. I was exposed, of course, to personal development when I was in the financial services industry. And then when I thought that I knew everything, and even though I was doing motivational speaking and speaking at seminars and companies and asking me to speak before the alcohol, I kind of thought that I learned everything, that I knew everything. And if I can show you the books over there, I have an autographed copy of Think and Grow Rich, one of the first 500 first editions, and
nice.
All kinds of books, and signed by Napoleon Hill. I actually have 2 of them right there. I have letters from Andrew Carnegie. So I was really into personal development. But now that you think of it, I got away from that. That could have had a big thing to do, because once I got a taste of personal development, when I got started with Amway at a young age, they were huge into it. I mean, I owe a lot to Amway, because most of us here wouldn't be in this industry today if it wasn't for Amway, because they were the granddaddy of them all. And they were very big on the tapes and the books and the seminars for that personal development. But once I thought I reached that pinnacle and arrived, and I was untouchable, and I thought I was this rock star, I had all the books, but they didn't get open. I mean, I read things like Sun Tzu, The Art of War every year. I read Think and Grow Rich several times a year. I have them on my iPads. I have them on my Kindle. And I might not sit down and read the whole book, but I'll read a chapter here and there, or 5 minutes here and there if I'm on a plane, or I might have certain things that I've taken excerpts out and I have it on my computer. And I've noticed that I buy a lot more books since I've been sober again. I'm always, if a book comes out, because I don't think I know everything, because there might be one thing in that chapter or in that book that I learned that can change my life. Like when I speak at an event, there was about 20 or 30 great speakers at the last event that I spoke at. And, you know, there's some new speakers and there's some seasoned speakers. I mean, Marshall Silver was there, and Marshall's probably one of the best people from stage there is. And, but, you know, then you had people who don't have as much experience up there. But believe it or not, if I sit through something, or it's like when I turn on Joel Osteen, you know, from Houston, Texas on a Sunday morning, for some reason, every sermon that he's doing, when I hear about it, something he says, he's talking directly to me. There's something that, for some reason, is always being talked to me. But that 8 years that I was drinking nonstop and living a crazy lifestyle and doing things I shouldn't do, there was no personal development. And I'm not saying that I do personal development and sit down and read 3 hours a day or anything like that. I fit it in when I can, and I'm very selective of what I read now. But that I'm glad you kind of brought that up, because that might have a lot to do with it, because it was absent from my life in that 8 years.
So in the last 25 years, you've obviously seen the landscape of this industry change quite a bit. Tell us a bit about what people need to really focus on if they want to build organizations. You build organizations with people, you know, 500,000 plus. Where's that direction going now, and what do people need to do if it really focus on, if that is their goal, if that is their intention, to build that kind of organization like you have had? What would you suggest?
Well, the first word is what we are. You know, we call it MLM. We call it network marketing, not net sit on your butt marketing. Since I've been around, you know, I'm going to be 46 in January, and I've seen it all. The internet has been a blessing, and the internet has been a curse for not only network marketing, but a lot of industries. In network marketing, it's promoted laziness. You know, I know a lot of the so-called gurus out there. We're friends with them. We hang out, and you know, and we go to events, and we go on vacation together. And what you'll realize is, yes, you can make money. There is no one push-button win-win situation. And you'll see it with some of the successful companies out there now. There's never going to be a billion-dollar network marketing company that you can sit home, push buttons, and have no belly-to-belly, face-to-face interaction. It's never going to happen. Business fundamentals won't allow it. People will stay with a company longer because they have a sense of being together in that company, because they want to be part of a club. Even if they're making no money, they might hang around long enough to eventually make money because they learn something, and it might take them 5 years, 10 years. The push-button mentality, can you make money doing things on the internet? Yes. Can you make long-term incomes and build different programs out there? Yes. The laziness that some of these programs have promoted over the years, that most of them have been shut down because their business models are totally illegal, has really spoiled a lot of people. That belly-to-belly, face-to-face is, you know, if you look at, there's only $13 billion, you know, per year. I'm not talking about cumulative. I'm saying that do over $1 billion per year network marketing companies. And there's been 25 to 50,000 network marketing companies to start that we know of, compared to the ones that we never even heard of. And if you look at those numbers, every one of them has interaction belly-to-belly, face-to-face. From the grandfather of direct selling, which is Avon, which is the largest, to number 2, which is, you know, Amway, and then you go all the way down to some of the new kids on the block, like Melaleuca, which just entered that realm of over $1 billion a year. All belly-to-belly, face-to-face presentations. Can you add in some internet marketing techniques with these companies? Yes, but even companies like Ambit that just reached the $1 billion mark. That's the newest one to hit the mark that you'll see here. You know, belly to belly, face to face. A lot of these companies don't allow, you know, internet marketing. Some of them say you can do it a little bit, but what you need is people need to learn to do a mix. And I'm glad when these companies are being shut down, because they're really, you know, hurting the industry as a whole. And I believe a lot of the company owners have to be able to come together because a lot of these companies are started by some guy in his bedroom who bought a piece of software overseas for $1,000, and they use payment processors. They don't take real credit cards and stuff like this, and then all of a sudden the company disappears, and people are on a rant on the internet. Oh, they took our beloved company away. Well, it's like sitting at a casino. If you sit at a casino table long enough, business fundamentals will play out and casino odds will play out. Okay, you might be able to skate the system for 2 or 3 years like the dot-com bubble burst, but eventually the cream will rise to the top, and what's really behind the curtain will come out. And I think that we need, I'm a very big proponent of being, not that I build every network marketing company that comes down my way, but I use a lot of network marketing products. I'll try any product. People send me products all the time, but we need to go back to a lot of the grassroots of get out there, work, build relationships, and that's where you're going to have the success.
You brought up an interesting point about being in multiple businesses, and there are some people who kind of have this philosophy of, let me plant my flag in one place, and then there's other people that take the extreme, and they're all over the board, and everything that shows up in their inbox is an opportunity. They're on it like that. Can you just share your perspective on what you think really is the best approach if you're looking for long-term success in this industry?
Okay, I do multiple income streams. I can tell you this: most of the income streams that I do behind the scenes, my downlines in companies do not know I do. I use it through buying traffic because I have a budget that I can be able to do that for, and I don't want to distract somebody who's brand new. When people on the internet or Facebook or Twitter say, I love multiple income streams, there are a lot of people who can pull that off, okay, that have been seasoned in internet marketing, because you're having a lot of the internet marketers now who are moving into the network marketing side. So they believe in multiple income streams, and they can build multiple programs. But for somebody new who doesn't have a residual income built up, who joins 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 opportunities at the same time, and they say, oh, I like multiple income streams, that's not an income stream. If you're not making an income from it, there's only one person that's an income stream for. That's your upline, whoever signed you up into that thing. It's a debt to you. It's actually hurting you more to be in multiple. Now, if you're making residual income and you're in a program for 2, 3 years and you have a big organization and you want to start dabbling maybe in internet marketing or doing affiliate products or doing things in that realm, well, then that's fine. You can do it behind the scenes and learn and take courses and different things. But joining 5 things at once because you think you're going to miss out on something, and then you don't hear about this program in 6 months, but it's all over the net beforehand, that's just a bad decision. So if you're not making a residual income for something, and getting a check for $2,000 one time in 1 month is not residual income. I'm telling you that if you go away for a month and your check is bigger next month when you went away on vacation for a month, and you do that several times a year, that's residual income.
What is your secret or strategy for retention and being able to build your teams and then keep them and see them have that same success for themselves?
I am very blunt with my team. They always get cross-recruited into a lot of different things, and I'm managing through several different hats at the same time, so I have to remember what I'm talking about on a conference call or doing a webinar or even an interview, to make sure that I'm guiding my people the right way. I like to educate my downline, or when I'm on a 3-way call, I do them. There's a lot of things I do webinars for. I'll speak at events in a local area or travel to speak at an event. I like to educate them on the downsides of the industry and what to look for, so I can keep them a little more focused. And I feel that educating them and giving them the right tools and ammunition to decipher what is real out there and what the pitfalls of a certain program or a certain comp plan for their type of building is. I feel that the education is really most important to the retention, because a lot of people call me up all the time and they're like, John, you know everything about every program. How do you do that? Well, this is my business. Okay, if I was going to be a doctor, I would hope my doctor wants to know about the latest cutting edge technology of what works and what doesn't work. A lot of people jump into this with eyes closed, and that's fine. But once you're in it, you should be learning every day something about it so that you know. I like to know more about somebody's company that's my competition than even the people in that company, because I want to know what they're doing is over there that's working and what's not working. So I think education and really learning about your craft and fine-tuning your craft is a key to retention and success.
Where do you see the direction of this industry going? We could talk a little bit about this at the top, but just kind of share, where you see things kind of changing and evolving moving forward, and what should people be looking out for and being focused on moving forward?
I think you're going to see a much more consistent younger generation get involved. You're seeing it in certain companies right now. There's a juice company out of Arizona, I won't mention their name, who's doing a fantastic job in that market. What's yet to be seen, since they've been doing it for about 2 years, it's got great ownership over there, is that if those people, while they're in college and everything else, are making some significant incomes, you can keep them focused long enough that they will go on and make this their career and continue on. So you're going to see a lot more younger people. I mean, I'm seeing people 18 years old, 19 years old, consistent basis, where nobody would really touch network marketing, under 30 years old. I was one of the rarities at 19 years old back in the day, but there was only a few kids on the block at that time, doing network marketing. So you're going to see a lot of that. You're going to see a lot more companies also start to move into more automated systems that work. The reason I say that work is this. You can have the best system out there. Okay, I deal with systems all the time. We create systems for companies and on consulting jobs, and we consult on comp plans. But the problem is you can have the best system, but if the system doesn't have traffic going to it, the system is basically useless. So you're going to see more and more creative ways to get traffic to your systems. One of the big things is going to be you're going to see much more mobile going on in, where people can build their businesses from the phone. That we think today the technology is really cool. It's going to be 10 times better. I mean, technology is advancing at almost 10 to 20 years every 6 months as we speak. So we're going to see things that make it easier. But by making it easier, you're still going to have to expose people to your opportunity. And what I feel the biggest thing is, whatever program you're doing, if it's legal, if it's moral, if it's ethical, what you need to do is you have to have a passion behind it, because your passion will build your business more than anything else out there.
What was the best piece of advice you've ever received, Joe?
Don't quit. Or quit every day. Okay, but make sure when you wake up the next day that you didn't quit. That's the thing. People, if you see me now and people get me on the phone, I work 24/7. My wife says, we go on vacation and this, but that's my business. Work and play is the same thing. There's really no different. Sometimes we go downstairs to the theater to watch a movie, and it's 2 hours long, and it takes us 8 hours to watch the 2-hour movie because I keep getting interrupted, because I take 3-way calls and stuff like that, and I still do it. But I get down and out in this business all the time. I still get doubts. I've been getting them for, almost, 26, 27 years. The problem, the difference between me and everybody else is that I overcome them. I'll even go into a slump for a bad week where, people will say to me, oh, you don't sound good today. You don't sound the same. You don't sound this. And I think I sound great. But then other times when I'm down, they think I'm on top of the world. So if you're having a problem and stuff like that, deal with it. Don't make a hasty decision, and then go to somebody in your upline. It may not even be your sponsor, or that you can talk about it. One of the big things too is having your spouse or your significant other on board if you're in a relationship or you're married is key. I see a lot of spouses that don't build the business in our way that we do, but they're totally supportive. They go to meetings and they have no problem with them coming home late for dinner. That is just as crucial to somebody building their business as somebody going out and building a presentation. Sometimes it's more, because if your spouse is unsupportive and you get on a phone call, or you have to take a phone call in the middle of dinner, or you come home from a bad presentation and then your spouse is yelling at you or giving you an attitude, that's a miserable life to be in. And one of the things we were going to do at the Pure Leverage event, that's one of the companies that I build, we were going to have the wives of Pure Leverage come up there, because none of them actually go out there and build the business like we do, or do the internet marketing side, but they're all supportive. But one thing they have in common, none of them believed it at start. Some of them, I'm not going to call some people out. Some of the wives said, is what you're doing legal? Are we going to go to jail for this? Why does our bank account have money in it all of a sudden? And we were actually, but the meeting went a little bit too long. We were going to actually have a video done about the women, their perspective, who don't actually go out there and physically do that. And I've seen a lot of people come into this industry, and then after 2 or 3 years, their spouse is unsupportive, and it's a nightmare. They'll call me up, and they don't know what to do. And it's hard to get in between a relationship and tell people what to do. But if people have negative doubts and stuff like that, slip them a book here and there. When the checks start coming in, trust me, the spouses become supportive. It doesn't matter if it's a wife or a husband. When the checks come in, all of a sudden support changes. And you have to give your spouse or significant other, the amount of time necessary to do that. This is not a get rich quick. You're not going to make $1 million overnight. And if you think you're in a program, you're going to make $1 million overnight, most likely the program's not going to be here in a year anyway. So, you got to give, you got to really have the support, and don't quit.
That is amazing, amazing advice, and it just ties into my final question, which we kind of opened up with our discussion about your book and overcoming failure. And if you could just share some final thoughts on your philosophy on overcoming failure.
I'm going to give myself a shameless plug there. I mastered failure, but look at me now. As a matter of fact, at the end of the broadcast, if you want, they can go to my website and download a free copy. No strings attached. They can download it at the end. We can give them the link or whatever have you. My philosophy on failure. Your past life, no matter how good or no matter how bad what you're coming from, and I've had both. You're never going to get back what you had, whether it's bad or whether it's good. Stop trying to recreate if you have good memories and things like that. If you continue to try to rebuild this image in your brain of what you want to create your life to be like it used to be, or someone else's life, you're holding yourself back. When I gave up that thought and I said, you know what, it is what it is. I lost everything. I lost my family. I became an alcoholic. I went through all this. When I came to the realization that it is what it is, and I got to move on, and then stopping the drinking and all the things that I talk about in my book, when I came to that realization, things came fast in waves. And things that I thought were going to take years came in 2-3 weeks. And that's what I think. Look forward. The past is what it is, and just shoot for the top, and you'll be amazed at what you can create out of your life.
John Gillardi, thank you very much for spending some time here today. Continued success to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.